You spent the last $68 in your rent envelope on a birthday cake. Victor Hale's voice crossed Callahan's corner and stopped every conversation. 8 candles trembled on a white cake covered with blue stars. Owen Lawson stood before them, halfway through a wish. His mother, Rebecca, stared at the bakery receipt in Victor's hand. Lucy Callahan still held the match her father had used to relight the final candle. Victor placed a second paper beside the cake. The bank has a buyer ready. If Nathan does not cure the balance by 5 o'clock Monday, this diner is finished. Rebecca looked at Nathan. Tell me the cake did not cost you your home. Nathan's hand tightened around a chair. The cake did not put us here. Owen stepped back. I can give it back. Nathan knelt until they were eye to eye. A child's birthday did not create 15 months of debt. Adults made choices long before you came through that door. Victor removed his glasses. He was not cruel. He looked like a man who had delayed the inevitable too many times. Monday at 5, he repeated. After that, Hearthstone Grill takes the space. Nathan struck another match and shielded the flame. Finish your wish, son. No bill in this room gets to take that from you. Owen closed his eyes again. As 8 candles glowed beside a termination notice, Rebecca realized that saving her son's birthday might cost this quiet single father everything he had left. 36 hours earlier, Bellwether Bakery was bright enough to make every disappointment visible. Rebecca Lawson stood at the counter with one hand around her phone and the other pressed against a white bakery box tied with blue ribbon. Her checking account showed $12.43. A payment for Owen's emergency room visit had cleared early, leaving too little for the cake, groceries, and gasoline to reach her shifts at Westbridge Medical Clinic. I need to cancel the order, she said. The clerk looked at the blue stars around the edge. The remaining balance is $68. The deposit cannot be refunded. I understand. The manager answered from several feet away. Because it has his name on it, we cannot resell it. 2 customers turned. Rebecca felt heat move across her face. Then donate it. Store policy does not allow that. Then throw it away. Near the front window, Owen appeared to be studying frosted cookies. He held a handmade birthday card against his coat, but his eyes were fixed on his mother's reflection. Behind Rebecca, Nathan Callahan waited with his 9-year-old daughter, Lucy, and 2 loaves of discounted bread for the diner. Lucy watched Rebecca remove the blue ribbon. Dad, why is she leaving the cake? Nathan did not answer. Owen folded his card and pushed it into his pocket before his mother reached him. Change of plans, Rebecca said brightly. We are making birthday pancakes at home. Owen smiled too quickly. That sounds better. They walked into the cold afternoon. Lucy looked up at Nathan. Are we going to help? Not in front of them. Why? Because help can become humiliation when it takes away someone's choice. After Rebecca's car disappeared, Nathan returned to the counter. He took a plain envelope marked rent from his jacket and counted the last $68 inside. Lucy recognized it. You said every dollar mattered. It does. Then why spend it? Nathan looked at Owen's name in blue frosting. Because sometimes what a dollar does matters as much as where it goes. Lucy frowned. That sounds like something people say before making a bad decision. Nathan almost smiled. His late wife, Emily, would have said the same thing. She believed generosity should be quiet, but she also balanced the books to the penny. Since her death 4 years earlier, Nathan had followed the first lesson better than the second. He paid for the cake and asked the bakery to hold it until Friday afternoon. On the drive back, Lucy asked what would happen if Victor wanted the money. I will tell him the truth, Nathan said. And if he closes the diner? Then the cake will not be the reason. It will only be the last thing everyone notices. Callahan's Corner appeared at the next intersection, its faded red sign humming above empty booths. Nathan had kept the diner open because Lucy needed something that still felt like her mother. He had also kept it open because grief was easier to carry when coffee had to be brewed and strangers expected the lights to come on. Inside, he opened the register and saw that the day's cash would not cover the next bread delivery. Lucy watched him place the empty rent envelope beside 3 overdue notices. "Are we in trouble?" Nathan closed the drawer. "Yes. Would Mom have bought the cake?" Nathan looked at Emily's photograph above the register. "She would have found a way to buy it without risking your home. That is the part one still have to learn." Across town, Rebecca placed eggs, flour, milk, and a small bag of chocolate chips on her kitchen counter. "Tomorrow we build the tallest pancake stack in Ohio," she told Owen. "How tall?" 1 foot. "That sounds unsafe." "Then we use syrup for structural support." He laughed because she needed him to laugh. Later, Rebecca saw him unfold the birthday card he had hidden. On the front was a blue cake with 8 candles. Inside he had written, "Thank you for always making things special, Mom." Rebecca stepped away before he noticed her. On the refrigerator hung an old badge from the Westbridge Hotel, where she had once coordinated conferences, weddings, and corporate dinners. She left after Owen's father died because the nights and weekends no longer fit the life of a single mother. The skill remained, but no employer had offered hours she could keep. She turned the badge face down and began measuring flour. At 6 the next morning, Nathan found Victor Hale waiting in the first booth. Victor owned the building, but the bank held a lien against it. Nathan's late rent had become more than a private inconvenience. A regional chain called Hearthstone Grill had offered nearly twice his rate. Victor slid a letter across the table. "They sign Monday evening unless you cure the full balance by 5. Nathan read the amount, $3,840. "You said I had until the end of the month." "I said that before the bank moved the deadline." "You have changed it 3 times. "Because I delayed them 3 times. Victor pointed toward the letter. "Not another promise. Not half. The full amount." Nathan folded the page. "That is impossible in 1 weekend." "Then tell me to sign with them now." "No." Victor studied him. Emily understood kindness and arithmetic. Nathan's eyes lifted. "Do not use my wife to collect rent." Victor regretted the words, but he did not take them back. "I am trying to keep the bank from collecting the building." When he left, Lucy stepped from the kitchen. "How much do we have?" "Not enough." "And you spent $68. "Yes." "Was that kind, or was it selfish?" Nathan did not defend himself. "I do not know yet." Nathan needed a way to give Rebecca the cake without turning her worst moment into a performance. He remembered how she kept her shoulders straight while strangers listened at the bakery. She did not need charity at her apartment door. She needed choice. He wrote a note offering payment to review the diner's family seating, service flow, and event setup. The work was real. Servers collided near the drink station, families waited too long for high chairs, and takeout orders crowded the register. Marjorie Bell, a retired teacher and regular customer, delivered the note to Westbridge Medical Clinic. Nathan added 1 sentence before sealing it, "Your time will be paid for, whether or not I use your recommendations." Rebecca recognized his name but accepted because the offer described work, not pity. At 4 o'clock, she arrived with Owen and kept her purse over one shoulder. "We are staying 1 hour," she told him. Nathan greeted them without pretending they had never met. Rebecca studied him. "You were at Bellwether." "Yes." "Is that why you contacted me?" "It is why I noticed you. It is not why your judgment has value." The answer kept her from leaving. She walked the service path twice, moved one chair 6 inches, and turned the table toward the entrance. "Parents sitting here cannot see their children near the door." Nathan wrote it down. She moved the high chairs to the wall, shifted the drink station closer to the kitchen, and cleared the register. Her voice grew steadier with every change. "You have done this before," Nathan said. "I coordinated events at the Westbridge Hotel." "Why did you leave?" "My husband died. The hours stopped fitting our life." Nathan did not offer pity. The skill did not disappear. Rebecca looked at him carefully. No one had said that to her in years. When the hour ended, Nathan led her into the kitchen. The white bakery box rested inside the refrigerator. Rebecca saw the blue ribbon and stopped. "Open it." Nathan lifted the lid. Owen's name appeared beneath blue stars. "You bought it?" "Yes. You heard me cancel it, then invented a job to make yourself feel better. At first, I created a reason to give you a choice. That is not the same as respecting one." Nathan placed his notebook beside the cake. Every page contained her changes and measurements. "Then you walked in here and did work worth more than I can pay. A cake is not wages. Cash is beside it. Take the cash, the cake, both, or neither. I will not explain anything to Owen." Rebecca searched his face for pride or the pleasure of being needed. She found only exhaustion and respect. Then she noticed an overdue supplier invoice beneath the notebook. "You are behind too. That is my responsibility. And my son is mine." "I know." The refrigerator hummed between them. Finally, Rebecca closed the box. "If I take it, Owen learns only that I worked for his birthday. That is all he will know." She looked toward the dining room. "Those paper stars are hanging too high." The smallest smile reached Nathan's face. "Show me where they belong." By 6 o'clock, Lucy's stars hung just above Owen's head. 6 children from his class waited with handmade cards. Marjorie switched on a strand of white lights, and Owen stopped at the first booth. "Why is everyone here?" Rebecca placed both hands on his shoulders. "I helped Mr. Callahan prepare an event. This is what I earned." Owen wrapped his arms around her waist. "I knew you would make it special." Nathan placed 8 candles into the frosting but wrote no message revealing the bakery. Instead, he gave Owen a blank card and a blue pencil. "Your mother did the work," he said. "You get to write what tonight means." Owen printed, "Best pancake birthday ever," though there were no pancakes on the table. Everyone laughed. Nathan lit the candles. Then Victor entered with the termination notice, and the room became silent. After Victor revealed the deadline, Owen immediately blamed himself. Nathan refused to let him. The cake did not close this diner. Years of bad months brought us here. I made the choice, and I will answer for it. Victor lowered his voice. Dean Mercer from Hearthstone inspects the property Sunday. If the balance is not paid Monday, they take possession Tuesday morning. Rebecca picked up the notice. "How much?" $3,840. Nathan turned toward her. "This is not yours to fix." "You are right," she said. Then she spread her event sketch across the table. "But you paid me for an honest opinion. My opinion is that this diner has been waiting for someone to run the weekend correctly." Nathan shook his head. "I will not put a donation jar on the counter." "Then sell something." She wrote "Open Table Weekend" at the top of the page. Families could reserve meals in advance. Local businesses could sponsor tables for nurses, teachers, veterans, and overnight workers. Every transaction would buy actual food. "No story about the cake," Nathan said. "No photographs of Owen or Lucy. If this becomes pity, we stop." Rebecca held out her hand. "Then we make it business." Nathan shook it. By 8 Saturday morning, the corner booth had become a command center. Rebecca called former vendors from her hotel days. Marjorie contacted retired teachers. Lucy and Owen delivered flyers along Maple Street that said, reserve a meal. Keep a neighborhood table open. The hardware store bought breakfasts for volunteer firefighters. The pharmacy reserved a caregiver table. Bellwether Bakery offered pies at cost. Nathan worked the grill while Rebecca moved through the room with the calm authority of someone returning to a part of herself she thought she had lost. By noon, every booth was reserved. By 2, prepaid vouchers covered nearly half the balance. Nathan allowed himself to believe they might succeed. Then Cassidy Lane, a local lifestyle blogger, entered with her phone recording. "Why is the diner suddenly full?" she asked. Nathan said it was a prepaid community meal weekend. Cassidy smiled toward the paper stars. "And the poor child's birthday saved the diner, right?" Nathan's expression changed. "Do not film the children. People respond to a human story." Rebecca stepped between the phone and Owen. "You need permission before recording a minor." Cassidy lowered the device, but she had already captured Owen in the background and the termination notice beneath the register. 20 minutes later, a post appeared online: "Struggling diner uses poor boy's birthday TO bag for rent." The caption claimed donations were paying Nathan's debt. None of it was true, but truth moved slower than outrage. Reservations disappeared. 3 businesses canceled. 1 customer demanded a refund. Another placed cash on the counter and asked for a photograph with Owen. Rebecca pushed the money back. "He is not part of the price." Owen looked at his mother. "Did everyone come because we could not buy the cake?" Rebecca turned toward Nathan. "You promised." "I did not speak to her." "But you brought us here." Nathan could have cleared his name by explaining Rebecca's balance, the medical payment, and the bakery scene. He would also have exposed everything he promised to protect. "I will fix it," he said. Rebecca took Owen's coat. "You cannot put privacy back after someone turns it into content." She led him out. The paper stars moved in the cold air after the door closed. Nathan stopped the event at 3:15 and began refunding every disputed payment. Marjorie watched the total fall. "You will lose the diner." "Maybe. Then tell people what happened." "It is not my story to tell." By sunset, the remaining shortage was $2,600. Dean Mercer arrived before closing in a coat bearing the Hearthstone logo. He walked through the diner as though measuring a room that already belonged to him. "Hearthstone will buy your equipment for $8,000 if you surrender the lease tonight." Lucy listened from the counter. The money would pay several bills and secure a small apartment. Nathan looked at the grill Emily had chosen, the booths she had refinished, and Lucy's height marks beside the kitchen door. Dean followed his gaze. "Sentiment is expensive. So is replacing a neighborhood with the same menu you sell in 42 towns." Dean smiled. "Being known does not pay rent." He left the offer on the counter. Midnight. After Dean left, Lucy picked up the paper. $8,000 is more than we have. Yes. We could be safe. For a while. Her eyes filled with anger. "You always help everyone except me." Nathan froze. "That is not true. You spent the rent money on Owen. You keep saying this diner is my home, but you never ask whether I want to be scared inside it." Nathan opened his mouth, then closed it. "Mom would have bought the cake," Lucy said. "But she would not have made me wonder where we were sleeping." She walked into the kitchen and shut the door. Nathan sat beneath Emily's photograph long after midnight. For years, he told himself every sacrifice protected Lucy's connection to her mother. He had never admitted that the diner also protected him from accepting a life Emily was no longer in. He found Lucy asleep in the last booth and covered her with a clean tablecloth. When she woke, he placed Dean's offer between them. "You were right. I used your mother's memory to make decisions you had to live with." "Are we leaving?" "I do not know. That is not an answer. It is the most honest one I have." Nathan pushed the offer toward her. If you want me to take it, I will. Lucy studied the number. Do you want to? No. But wanting to stay does not give me the right to gamble your security. Lucy thought for a long time, then pushed it back. Do not gamble. Make a plan that works after Monday too. Nathan nodded. Saving the diner could no longer mean surviving one deadline. It had to mean changing how he ran it. Sunday morning, Rebecca found an envelope beneath her apartment door. Inside was a refund receipt, Cassidy's post, and a note from Nathan: I could defend myself only by exposing what I promised to protect. I chose the promise. I am sorry that my choice still hurt you. He asked for nothing. Online, Nathan had posted only, the child shown did not authorize this story. No donations were requested. All disputed payments have been refunded. Please remove his image. He had accepted public suspicion rather than use Rebecca's hardship as evidence. Rebecca drove to the diner. Nathan was repairing a loose hinge while Lucy rewrote the totals. Only 4 customers sat inside. You refunded everything, Rebecca said. Everything connected to the false post. You could have told the truth. It was not mine to tell. Owen looked at the paper stars. Are you still closing? Lucy answered quietly. Probably. Owen lowered his eyes. Then the wish did not work. Nathan crouched beside him. Wishes are not contracts. They do not fail because something is hard. Rebecca placed her phone on the counter. Then we correct the lie without telling my private story. Nathan shook his head. You do not owe me that. I am not doing it because I owe you. A lie used my son, and silence is now helping it. She recorded a short message beside the event plan. She explained that open table weekends sold meals and sponsored tables, that no donation was required, and that refunded customers could repurchase through a transparent menu. This diner did not use a child to create a story, she said. A stranger used a child to distort one. The correction reached the people who mattered. The hardware store restored its order. The pharmacy repurchased its table. Cassidy removed Owen's image and posted an apology. By Sunday evening, the diner had earned $1,400 in legitimate sales, but the ledger still showed a shortage of $1,200. Victor arrived with Dean at 7. Rebecca placed a 90-day business plan on the counter: weekly family suppers, prepaid vouchers, delivery service to the clinic, and a catering proposal for the Westbridge Hotel. Dean laughed. A proposal is not a contract. Not yet, Rebecca said. Victor read every page. The bank wants the arrears by 5 tomorrow. A plan does not replace cash. Nathan nodded. Dean offered the cure release form again. Nathan looked at Lucy. She studied the plan, then nodded once. Nathan slid the form back and signed. Tomorrow at 5. At 6:30 Monday morning, Rebecca's phone rang. Daniel Cho, banquet director at the Westbridge Hotel, had a crisis. His breakfast vendor's refrigerator had failed. 200 conference guests needed boxed breakfasts by 2:30. $3,000, paid on delivery, he said. Rebecca looked at Nathan starting the grill. This order could clear the balance. Nathan looked at the small kitchen and the customers entering. Or make us fail 200 people publicly. Lucy opened Emily's old production notebook. Mom catered the high school fundraiser from here. With 2 days and 12 volunteers. We have 8 hours. Rebecca returned to the call. 1 sandwich, 1 fruit, 1 pastry, no substitutions. Send the written order now. Daniel agreed. The diner became a production line. Bellwether Bakery delivered 200 wrapped muffins at cost. Marjorie called retired teachers to pack fruit and napkins. The hardware store loaned insulated carriers. Nathan recorded every hour. If we survive, everyone gets paid or credited. At 9:15, the egg supplier arrived with only half the order. The rest had been sent to another restaurant. Dean Mercer entered carrying coffee. Hearthstone has eggs. Sign the surrender form, and I will sell them to you. Nathan stared at him. Sell them at market price without the form. I am not running a charity. Neither am I. Dean left. Rebecca counted the remaining eggs. Enough for 108 sandwiches. She called Daniel. I can deliver 100 egg sandwiches and 100 grilled chicken biscuit sandwiches at the same price, clearly labeled. Daniel asked for 5 minutes. If the hotel refused, the order collapsed. He called back. Approved, but every allergen label must be correct. Rebecca wrote the labels herself and had 2 people verify each one. Nathan watched her move between stations. You did not lose the skill. I lost the room where I used it. Maybe you found another one. At 1:20, 200 boxes stood across the dining room. Nathan counted them twice. The final coffee urn was sealed at 1:40. Victor called. The bank meeting starts at 4:30. I need cleared funds by 5. An authorization is not enough. Nathan loaded the last carrier into the hardware store van. Rebecca drove. They reached Westbridge at 2:22. Conference staff checked the boxes and signed delivery. Daniel processed the corporate card for $3,000. The terminal displayed approved. Rebecca exhaled. Nathan did not. The payment appeared as pending. They returned at 3:10. Victor waited with a bank representative on speakerphone. Dean stood near the window holding the Hearthstone lease. Approved is not settled, the bank representative said. A large first-time transaction may remain pending until tomorrow. Rebecca called Daniel. Hotel Finance could issue a same-day wire, but the controller was in a conference session until 4. The clock above the register moved past 3:30. At 4:12, the controller approved the wire. At 4:28, it had not arrived. Dean unfolded the new lease. Victor signed the first page but left the final signature blank. I can wait until exactly 5, he said. Dean's smile disappeared. At 4:46, Nathan placed the diner keys on the counter. Lucy looked at him. What are you doing? Keeping my promise not to turn our home into a gamble. He handed Rebecca the 90-day plan. This works somewhere else. She shook her head. Not without you. Skills do not disappear because a room closes. At 4:56, the balance remained unchanged. Owen closed his eyes. Are you making another wish? Lucy asked. No. I am trying not to be scared. At 4:58, Daniel called. His bank confirmed the wire, but Victor's account still showed nothing. Dean picked up his pen. Nathan looked at Emily's photograph, then at Lucy. Whatever happens, we leave together. At 4:59 and 31 seconds, Victor's phone chimed. He opened the notification and read it twice. The wire had posted. Combined with the weekend sales, it covered the arrears with $43 remaining. Victor removed the unsigned Hearthstone agreement. Dean stepped forward. We had a deal. Only if the default remained uncured, Victor said. Dean looked at Nathan. You saved a dying diner by 30 seconds. Nathan shook his head. No. We bought 90 days to prove it can live. Victor tore the termination notice in half, then placed a probation agreement on the counter. 90 days. Current rent on time. Weekly sales reports. Miss one payment, and I cannot stop the bank again. Nathan read every line. That is fair. Lucy handed him the pen. This is the plan after Monday. Nathan signed. No one cheered until the final page was complete. Then Owen began clapping. Marjorie joined him, followed by the volunteers and customers. Rebecca stood beside Nathan. "You bought one cake," she said. "You built the rest," he answered. "No. We sold the rest." Nathan smiled. "That sounds more sustainable." The diner did not become successful overnight. Tuesday was still slow. The grill needed repair, and bills remained beneath the register. But Rebecca joined Callahan's Corner as a paid event and catering coordinator for 12 hours each week while keeping her clinic job. Every Wednesday, she reviewed cash flow with Nathan before planning a single act of generosity. Every sponsored meal had a buyer. Every birthday table had a budget. Nathan learned that quiet kindness did not require invisible costs. The Westbridge Hotel signed a 6-month breakfast contract. Victor repaired the leaking window seals because the building owner was responsible for them. Nathan repaired the grill from a maintenance fund instead of delaying it. Lucy watched him place money into separate envelopes labeled rent, repairs, wages, and birthdays. "You added birthdays to the budget?" she asked. "Your mother would have." She would also check the total twice. Nathan handed her the calculator. "That is why you are here." Cassidy returned without a camera and apologized to Rebecca and Owen in private. She published a correction focused on consent, not heroism. Rebecca did not forgive her immediately. She accepted the correction and kept her distance. Not every conflict needed a warm ending to become complete. For the first time since Emily died, Nathan stopped opening the diner before dawn to avoid going home. He began eating breakfast with Lucy at a booth, when customers waited outside. The doors opened 10 minutes later, the world continued turning, and Lucy understood that she was not a responsibility on his list. She was reason for the list. 3 months later, Victor reviewed the diner's reports. Every payment had arrived on time. Catering covered the slow weekdays, and open-table suppers remained prepaid. He replaced the probation agreement with a 2-year lease containing a fixed increase and clear renewal option. "No miracle language," Rebecca said while reading it. "No one saved anyone." Victor nodded. "You operated a business well enough to remain." Nathan signed with Lucy beside him. 6 months after Owen's birthday, a small table near the front window held fresh paper stars and a simple sign, "The birthday table." Families could reserve it without explaining a job loss, a hospital bill, or a difficult month. The celebration was never free by accident. Local businesses purchased monthly credits, Bellwether Bakery supplied cakes at cost, and Callahan's Corner matched only what its budget allowed. Dignity had become part of the system, not a sacrifice hidden in Nathan's pocket. Rebecca and Nathan did not rush to name what grew between them. It appeared in quieter ways, a cup of coffee waiting when she arrived, her event folders beside Emily's cookbooks, and a repaired headlight on Rebecca's sedan with the parts receipt left on the dashboard because she insisted on paying it. Respect came before romance. Neither needed another rescuer. They needed someone willing to tell the truth when kindness became avoidance, pride became isolation, or grief became a business plan. One Thursday evening, Rebecca told Nathan the freezer was making a strange sound. He followed her into the dining room and stopped. The lights were low. Victor, Marjorie, Lucy, Owen, and dozens of regular customers stood around the birthday table. A vanilla cake rested beneath the crooked stars. Nathan looked at Lucy. "My birthday is next week. You wrote today on my school emergency form," she said. "I checked twice." Rebecca carried the cake toward him. Across the frosting were the words, "For the man who learned to stay." Owen handed Nathan the card he had carried at the bakery. Inside was a drawing of Callahan's Corner beneath uneven blue stars and the words, "Thank you for helping my mom remember what she can do." Lucy gave him a second card, "Thank you for choosing me and the diner," in that order. Nathan read both messages twice. The ceiling fan turned softly above him. The refrigerator that once hid Owen's cake hummed behind the counter. Rebecca lit the candles. "Make a wish," she said. Nathan looked at his daughter, at Rebecca and Owen, and at the people who had bought meals, packed 200 breakfasts, corrected a lie, and forced him to understand that goodness without honesty could still hurt the people closest to him. "I already made one," he said. Lucy squeezed his hand. "Did it come true?" Nathan looked around the diner. No, the room became quiet. Then he smiled. It became a plan. He leaned toward the candles, and every light went dark at once.